You're very welcome back. On today's Talking Point, we're asking, housework a real job, or is it simply a woman's duty to stay in the home? Joining us to discuss this is Deborah Hadley, who has lobbied the Taoiseach in the past for a wage for housewives, and Roger Eldridge from the Men's Council of Ireland.
And I'm joined by a mother of 9 who believes that women who choose to stay at home should stop grumbling about it, since Tessa Kane.
Now, Deborah, I'm going to come to you first. You do feel strongly about this, don't you? You've gone as far as to try and talk to the Taoiseach about it.
Yep, I was part of a group that organised a petition, not for a wage, but we believed that we should have equal tax credits as a working woman. As it stands in 2008, the home carers credit, which could be for a man or woman staying at home, is €900, whereas a working mother or father gets a pay credit of almost double that.
So what do you think that represents?
To me, it says that the government doesn't value what I do as much as it values what someone going out and earning money is. You know. You
weren't always, obviously, a homemaker or a housewife or whatever you choose to call it. You were perfectly functioning outside the home before you became a mom, weren't you?
Absolutely, absolutely. And even with my first daughter, I was working in corporate accounting, and it was just heartbreaking. I was in America at the time and dropping a 6-week-old baby off to a creche. I mean, it's just heartbreaking. And when we moved back to Ireland, I finally had the opportunity to stay at home. And, you know, it's not easy, and but it's so rewarding and it's wonderful.
So what would be the ideal for you?
For me, I would like people to realize that, you know, we don't stay at home because we can afford to, indeed some people do, or that we're uneducated or that sort of thing. I think a lot of women who stay home today have third-level degrees or beyond, and there seems to be a stereotype that, you know, you're just a housewife. I mean, you couldn't possibly know anything, but I mean, just go to any mom and toddler group and hear the political discussions, and you can see that's far from the truth.
You haven't been, I suppose, just focused on the kids. You have been online. You have been creating something yourself, haven't you?
Yes, I have a blog. It's called The Humble Housewife, which is an ironic title because I'm a terrible housewife, but mainly on cooking. I love cooking, and it's been a joy to have the time to cook. And I want to help other mothers, working and stay-at-home mothers, learn how to cook simple meals that, you know, would take as much time as running to the shop and buying something.
Sure.
So.
Or popping it in the microwave,
absolutely.
Maybe. All right, Deborah. Roger, in an ideal world, where should a woman be?
Well, as I said the last time I was on the programme, that I think given free choice, then that would be the arrangement that the mother would stay at home and look after the children when they're young, and the father would go out and do the providing and the protecting, if you like. I mean, there's the last time I mentioned the Constitution, and I think the Constitution is very relevant here. So if I could just read out just this small piece. It says that the state guarantees to protect the family in its constitutional authority as the necessary basis of social order and as indispensable to the welfare of the nation. And then, in particular, the state recognises that by her life within the home, woman gives to the state a support without which the common good cannot be achieved.
Okay, Roger, right, you have read that to us. The Constitution was written a long time ago, and things have changed since then. Do you not think that how women are valued in the home should change also?
Well, what's happened is that it goes on for the state to pledge that it will support marriage. In fact, what's happened is that the state is actually totally in contempt of both marriage and women's role in the home. I mean, if you take, for example, back in, there used to be a strange title thing called the tort of criminal conversation, which meant that if a man ran off with my wife, I could sue him for the work that my wife did in the home. So that was a valuing of the woman's work in the home. That was abolished in 1981 by the state. Similarly,
what about in Venezuela? In the Constitution there, women do get paid. They get paid $170 a month. There is a value put on their work. Do you think something like that could be brought in here, or should be brought in here?
Well, I mean, there isn't a family in the country that wouldn't like 40,000 extra a year. They actually need it, unfortunately. But the problem there is that who who would actually oversee that? You know, would
the administration of
would
it.
women like, you know, a housewife inspector to be coming round?
Deborah, would you like a housewife inspector coming around?
Absolutely not. I have enough trouble with the husband.
What do you think of what Roger has to say there?
Like I said, I mean, a wage, it seems a bit far-fetched to me, but I do think that we should be treated equally in the tax system as a working woman who, on top of that credit, has a salary coming in, which we don't.
Okay.
And, I mean, you know, for some women, myself especially, it's been a struggle to make that choice to stay at home. And, you know, it's a tight budget. I don't have a second car. You know, things like that, if I was working, would be so much easier. But I've made this decision, and, you know, any little bit helps.
A little bit of support.
Yeah.
Okay, Joe.
Well, Tess, when you were rearing 9 children, were you thinking to yourself, somebody should be paying me for this, I should be getting money off the government?
Well, I certainly was, because I come from a different perspective, and it's, you know, in the 60s and 70s, you didn't have a choice.
Right.
You had to leave work. And I was teaching for part-time, and then I was in the bank. But I had to leave my job.
That was the marriage bar.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And you got small pittance from the banks at the time. If I had a choice nowadays, I think women have a marvellous time nowadays. They have a choice if they want to stay at home. I mean, there were many times with my big family that I would love to have gone to work, regardless, and I would have hoped it would have been, you know, a penalty on me if I didn't go. But
now, families are smaller these days as well.
That's
I mean,
true.
you had 9
That's very
children.
true.
What's the average family size now? 2 or 3 children, maybe at the most, yeah. Do you think it's women have it easier these days?
To a degree they have, but they still go through the same. I mean, if you have only 4 children, you go through the exact same as if you had 7 or 8 or 9.
Right.
You really, it's the same. You have to do the cooking, you have to do the washing, you know, you have to keep the house reasonable. But housework was never a priority with me.
Right.
You know, I did the bare necessities,
Right, yeah.
you know.
You're being very honest.
Well, because, well, I have to say it, because we lived beside the seaside.
Right.
And it was far more important for me to take the children down to the sea.
Okay. Can you ever see a day when the government will be paying women a housewife's allowance to stay at home and work?
I would love to see them paying a pension.
Right.
I certainly, or stamps,
Right.
because at least you'd have the credits.
The
and
credits, yeah.
Yes.
That would make a difference.
And it would make a big difference.
Okay, Tess, thanks very much. And we asked for comments, and we did get some. Now, Aileen and Kerry texted us. Women do not work in the home for free. They get a house, a car, a holiday abroad. They go to the beauty salon, have their hair and nails done, and then they shop for clothes. Who pays the bill? The good old husband who brings home the wages. So think on, ladies, we have it good. That's Aileen, a traitor to her gender there. Davy texted us to say the country is broke enough without having to fork out for stay-at-home mums. They already get the child allowance. And one more anonymous texters. I'm expecting our first baby in June. I've worked since I was 16. I have a 3rd level education, but I know that I can't afford to stay at home with only my husband's wages. I think there should be some sort of payment to stay at home, if it's only small.
Okay, Deborah, very finally to you. Do you spend half your time in the beauty salon? Show me your nails there.
God, no.
No sign of a French manicure there, Deborah. That's
I used
not
to
your
think
night.
I'd sit at home and watch Oprah all day, but it's not
It's
like
not happening
no.
like that with 2 kids. It
No.
just doesn't happen. Okay, thank you so much for coming in to talk
Thank
to us
you.
today. Roger also and Tess. Thanks to all our guests, in fact. That's it for this week, indeed, and thank you to everybody. We'll be back on Monday, as usual, with another talking point. And we'll also be taking a look at the world according to business tycoon Ben Dunn.
And microbiologist Dr. Orla Cahill tells us about those nasty but avoidable germs lurking all around us. Have a great weekend. We'll see you on Monday.
See you Monday.
We'll see you on Monday.